Buying versus leasing is something that you guys should really consider when it comes to looking for a location for an assisted living home. And I'm going to talk about the differences of which option should you really take. Is it buying or leasing? And I'm going to talk about the benefits of purchasing the property, the benefits of leasing the property before purchasing the property, and what you guys should do and what you guys should consider. So make sure that you guys stick around. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all the reoccurring viewers, guys, I appreciate you all and thank you so much for all the support. And to my new viewers, guys, I've actually created a Facebook group called Legion Assisted Living Academy. So make sure you guys go answer those 3 questions before requesting yourselves. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, should I lease? Should I purchase? And I'm going to talk about which one you guys should possibly do. So let's go ahead and start with leasing. The reason why a lot of you guys may consider leasing the property before purchasing or consider purchasing down the road is because you guys just don't have enough capital. Like myself, I didn't have a lot of capital to get started or to really put a down payment. And I know that you can get into a property with as little as 3.5% down using the FHA program, and even $0 down if you're a veteran, right? That is a possibility that you guys may consider. But with that being said, I didn't have either of those or the possibility to use any of them. I couldn't qualify for an FHA and also wasn't a veteran. So I really didn't have a lot of options there. So for me personally, I decided to go ahead and lease. And some of you guys may find yourselves in that same position as me, where you're young, you don't have the credit score that you'd want to have, and you don't have any of those options. You will most likely want to just go ahead and lease a property. The benefits of leasing the property is, especially if you can find one that's already being used or was being used as an assisted living. So what a lot of investors will do is, obviously I've talked about this time and time again, is they'll purchase the property, have it zoned for an assisted living, and then they can go ahead and rent it out for the purposes of an assisted living home. So if you're going to go down the path of leasing, it's nice because later on, when you do your taxes and everything, it's a write-off for your business, right? So that is the benefit of leasing a property, is you're able to get in a lot quicker without having to put down so much money. And if you just can't purchase a property, or you don't want to commit to purchasing a property or using any like the FHA program or your VA program, if you're wanting to save that for a personal home, for your primary residency, you may want to just lease a property to do assisted living out of. And it is well worth it, especially if you want to just get in, get started, get your feet wet, and not spend so much money as a down payment and not have such a big commitment like a mortgage, right? So those are really the only benefits of leasing a property over purchasing a property. There are a lot more benefits from purchasing a property compared to leasing, right? When it comes to purchasing a property, you're paying down your mortgage, you're building up your equity, you are able to potentially even live in the home. Even when you're leasing, you can live in the home, but with purchasing, it's a better investment overall. Not only are you running a business out of it, but you're also building that equity, and you're also building your portfolio in the sense of where your investment is going. And so whereas with leasing, obviously we all know when you're renting something, it's pretty much like it's an investment when it's a business, but it's not really an investment when you're just leasing out the property, because it's really not yours, and so you don't have that much control when it comes to what you can and can't do. Whereas when you purchase the property, you can actually make the renovations that you need to make, and that is overall, in my perspective, and if you're able to purchase property and you have the capital to do it, my advice and my suggestion is that you go and actually purchase that property. If your only option is to lease it and you just want to get started, go lease it. But there are a lot more benefits when you actually purchase the property over leasing it. So if you guys are able to do it, do that. And I know I get a lot of questions: should I purchase? Should I lease? What should I do? Honestly, look at your financial situation, where you're at in life financially, and if it makes more sense to go purchase and you have the capability of purchasing the property before leasing, or just not leasing period, that's great. I would consider that you do that before leasing. But if you do have the capability of doing both, just really take in consideration what you're wanting to do, right? Commitment wise, if you're wanting to hold on to this property for the long haul and run your business for however long you want to, and then eventually sell the property down the road or just lease it out down the road, you can do that. And that is the benefit of having the property, is you have full control of what you want to do. And you have to be very careful and make sure that before purchasing the property, you actually look at everything beforehand. Say you lease the property and things just don't go right. Now you're not stuck with the property that you've converted completely. I've seen homes that get completely converted. They go all out. They make it 8 rooms and 5 bathrooms, and then when they go to sell it, they can't sell it because nobody's gonna buy a property like that. Like, nobody's gonna buy a converted assisted living home, right? Like, I mean, unless it's like a Mormon family. Nothing against Mormons, but or like you come from a family like mine where there's 14 kids. It's going to be really hard to sell a property with 8 bedrooms, and no one's going to really need that much space. And so, especially when the homes get the garage converted, most people want a garage, and so just just normal people want a garage. So it's going to be a harder market to target when you go to sell the house down the road. If you do a full-blown conversion like that and you purchase the home and you do all that, it's going to be a harder market in the sense of having to sell your property. But when you lease it, right, you're pretty like you're mobile, right? You're fluid in the sense of, all right, I start the business, I run it for, you sign your lease agreement for 2 years. Then, after 2 years, if you're just like, you know what, this is not for me anymore, you can just renew the lease and then sell the business. And that new lease, whatever, the landlord and the new buyer owner will come to an agreement on what they'll be paying. What I've noticed is that most people are wanting to just lease the property just because it's so much easier in the sense of just getting in and being able to do it, whereas not everybody has the down payment to go and purchase a property. And that's probably where a lot of you guys are at this point, is you guys just don't have enough capital to really purchase a property, or you just don't have the credit score needed to purchase the property, and lenders aren't going to do that. But when you purchase the property, you got to also consider, when you're selling it down the road with the business, it's going to be a lot harder. You're going to have to sell the business at a lower value, because not a lot of people are going to be able to get qualified for an SBA. And then again, as an owner and as a business owner, you got to make sure your tax returns look good enough for an SBA lender to even approve anybody to, for them to lend on your business. The property itself, the real estate, will be valued at what it's valued when it gets appraised. But as for the business, it's going to be valued to something, but it's really hard to actually value assisted living homes, right? Like, to actually see what, they're bringing in, what they're bringing in, and the expenses are what the expenses are, and then the net income is what the net income is. It's as simple as that. So some people, what I've noticed is, when they're selling the business with the property, the businesses are so overpriced, it just makes no complete sense to even purchase them. So be very careful if you're buying an existing business, because some of them are really overpriced. And if you can just purchase the real estate, just purchase the real estate and then do the business out of it, and then eventually either sell the business and lease out the property to that new owner. That's another way to go about it. But with that being said, guys, leasing versus purchasing, I would prefer that you guys pick purchasing the home if you can. If you can't purchase the property and you're just wanting to get into the business and want to get started, go ahead, start with leasing like I did, and get your feet wet, see if it's for you. If things go south, you're able to get out of that lease a lot quicker. You're not tied down to it per se. You will be for 2 years or 3 years or however long your lease is for, but you can always add an addendum or break the lease if need be. But that's the benefit of leasing over purchasing and purchasing over leasing. Yeah, take all of that in consideration, guys, and hopefully that kind of helps you guys make a better decision on if you guys should lease or purchase. But for me personally, if I were to get another property, I would probably purchase it. I would just have to see, what the property is like and everything. And also be careful with leasing, right? People seem to actually overprice or charge you too much when it comes to actually leasing the property, right? Like way over market value. And you got to be careful. Make sure you look around that area, see what all the just homes like yours, but without the assisted living aspect, and then see what the market is. And then I would say maybe a couple $100 more, or maybe $1,000 more above market value is a good number to consider, and do a lease. Not anything way above that, because that wouldn't be worth it. It depends on the size of the house, right? And if it's a 10 bed, it's probably going to be a lot higher. If it's like a 5 to 7 bed, it'll probably be lower. But just be careful. Make sure you guys do your due diligence before pulling the trigger on anything. So guys, yeah, that is pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped, and if it did, make sure that you guys hit that like button. Make sure that you guys also go join that Facebook group called Legion Assisted Living Academy. I will link it down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and make sure you guys go watch all these other videos that will come up. They'll come up here, and make sure you guys go watch that playlist. There's a lot of informative videos in there. So guys, thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video. God bless. Peace.